Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar. Welcome, everybody. It's Sunday, 19th of July. It's 11 a.m. here in India. Each of you are logging in from different parts of the world. For some of you, it's very late at night. For some of you, it's very early. For most of us, it's another day when we are around, and I'm very excited today. That's the story of my life. Excited. Especially so because today on Living Forward, I'm going to engage in a conversation with someone who has inspired me from a very early age, impressionable age, right when I was stepped out of the National School of Drama, and I met this person, this lady, and she has played an amazing role in my life. And it's an absolute pleasure to welcome today on Living Forward, where we discuss actionable steps on how we can create going forward in our life. So, an absolute pleasure to welcome my dear friend, Seetha Ratnakar will be joining us. So first of all, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody, wherever you are from different parts of the world. My name is Ashish Vidyarthi, and it's an absolute pleasure and honor to have you here on Living Forward. This is the season of hope. So let me begin with this. Typically, we look at a season, we see if it is raining, we call it monsoon. If it's cold, we call it winter. If it's very warm, we call it summer. If there are festivities around, we call it the season of festivity. But seeing what's happening around in this world, this world needs us to give it a season. So we are choosing to give it the season of hope. So you and I, dear friends, are going to be infusing the world with hope, which it sorely needs. So as part of that conversation today, I'm here at Living Forward to tell you a little bit about Living Forward. So we at Avid Miner really believe that as we step into any future, we have to create new ways and different methods to find validity, which find relevance in this new future. So how we do is that we bring professionals, different sorts of people who are living their lives in their own way, and allow you, the viewer, and me, the participant, to immerse myself that how many different ways can a person live. So there are professionals, and then there are professionals who are retired. And I really believe that people who are, within quotes, retired, have an amazing role to play because they are a large set. So today, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome my dear friend, Seetha Ratnakar, as we talk about retired but not tired. Swagat hai. Welcome.
Hi, Ashish. A big hello to you and a big hello to all the people who have joined in to watch you and me in conversation.
Superb. Chennai it is.
Yes, Chennai, great day. It's cloudy and it's raining. But my son, the friend, hasn't been seen from morning. But you're bringing sunshine to the world.
And you do that too, but so by the river, right? By the river. And that river is going to play an interesting role in this conversation of ours.
Yes.
So fantastic. So just to share with friends around that, I grew up calling her Seetha Ji, but she was very clear that she wants me to refer to her as Seetha. I met Seetha in the year 1990. She was the best friend of my producer with whom I used to work at the Central Production Center in Doordarshan, Mrs. Ved Sinha. And Vedji's best friend, Seetha Ratnakar, we used to have adjacent cubicles, Seetha Ji and Vedji. And since I was Vedji's production assistant, I was around all the time. And the spirit that Seetha brought to life then, as she does now, has been something very inspiring for me. And today, I'm going to engage in a conversation with her in which I'm going to travel with her as she has seen many different lives and transitioned through many different periods, just like we are at this moment transitioning, or rather suddenly being jolted and put into a new period. So to set the ball rolling, Seetha, how are you doing in this COVID-19 time?
To tell you the truth, Ashish, it's been one of the. I'm very sorry about the pandemic and what's happening around the world. But personally, it has been a wonderful time for me, a wonderful time of looking within, finding a lot of, making a lot of personal changes, connecting with my family like never before, connecting with friends, connecting with nature, you know, making new friends while
Making
I'm
new friends.
Yes, while I'm locked up in my house through the window, these friends were
We
there,
will
but
come to those new friends. We
yeah,
will
but
come to those new friends. All
but
right.
when cooped up, I found lots of things to enjoy.
Wow. Being cooped up, you found a lot of things. Isn't that amazing? So that's something, I mean, unique to you, which, I have always been. So even as I first met you at CPC, as you used to work, and there was a smile about you, and there was a smile about you as you dealt with the the small things which would otherwise bring a frown to a lot of faces.
I don't know
What
if
was
you
that?
remember. I don't
Yeah.
know if you remember. There was I was doing one shooting late night at some hotel, and you just came to help out. Watch, you are not part of the team. And then there was a big altercation because some people got drunk and tried to misbehave with me, and you were there. I don't know. Try and remember in one of those big hotels, late night shooting around 11, 12. You were like one. You came to my rescue. And since then, you started telling me the next few days because I was so upset. You would tell me, share jokes with me, and cheer me up no end. I remember that very well. Probably the beginning of our friendship.
So interesting, if I may admit, I do not recall this, but knowing a little bit about me, yes, any work, for me, work is something which really inspires me, and I would have been there at your shoot. And I have been to a lot of places where I may not have been required, but that is something we will come to that. But so you have, as I said, that you have the topic today is that retired but not tired, and you have retired often, haven't you?
Yes, many times. I
Please
started,
share something about it.
yeah, I
When did you
started,
first retire?
okay, I started very young doing roles, acting in films as a child star, singing
Ah,
playback. I don't think you're aware of all this. And I retired from acting when I started learning dance. I retired from singing because dance took all my time. I thought I would be a musician, but I ended up being a dancer. And then on the day I joined Doordarshan, 7th
wait,
April
wait,
20.
wait, wait, wait. Is
No,
this
no, I'm
the
just saying.
dancer that you're talking about?
Yes, yes, that's me. That's before
Yeah.
my Kudi Ranga Pravecham. I
Okay.
was not even 15 years old. And I performed till I was about 22, 23. The day I joined Doordarshan was the last day I performed. So that was probably retirement from dancing on stage. But I,
So, so here is a question. So, as a child, you were learning music to sing, and then you kind of transitioned to be a dancer, and then you worked on it, and then you joined Doordarshan, and you had to dissociate yourself. I mean, not stop dancing professionally or something. It's now you had a job to do.
there was no time because
Got
the
it?
job was so demanding. So there was no time for, I love theater. I also did some theater. I did everything. But by the time I joined television, I just had to shift from this side of, being on stage, center stage, to being on the other side of the camera. Shift focus.
So, do we carry something from this one life to the other life?
Yes, a lot of good experience, no regrets because everything teaches you something. No regrets at living in the past. I could have been a dancer, I could have been I think I wanted to be a good television director. That was my focus once I joined. So I wasn't at all interested in performing anymore because, seeing this great artist, directing them for television, I was barely not yet 23 years when I joined. So it was so exciting for me to have all the topmost artists in India to record them because television was new for them. So here
Yes.
I was telling them how to come and do things, give them advice and how to adapt for a new medium. So that was very exciting.
And which year would this be? Which year would this be?
1975, I joined before the inception of Chennai Doordarshan, and straight away I was sent to FTII for training. Came back, and next day we started our recording because we had barely a week to go for the inauguration. So it was like being thrown into the water and learning to swim. Very exciting.
Wonderful. And so for you, would it be fair to say that you didn't have time to regret leaving something and starting something fresh?
I wouldn't say I didn't have time. I chose not to regret. I chose to take this new. There's always time, and you can always live in the past and feel unhappy if you choose to. But I always like to look forward, and because life had so much more to offer, and there were new experiences and new things happening, and I was perpetually finding excitement, happy, good things happening. So, I never regretted anything in life. Never, ever.
Sure. So one of the interesting things that I've found in my life, and as I look into any profession or anything, is that the tomorrow, is we're going to step into it. Okay, we have no clue about it. But the two things that we remain with at all times is this present, all right, this moment, and the moment which has gone past. And somehow I have felt that. And as you very beautifully said, it's not a question whether you had time for regret or not, but you chose not to. And that's the interesting part for me, that the present invariably looks a challenge. And the past, which has just gone past, seems to have some nostalgic value. When it was a present, it didn't really have that kind of value, but it has some nostalgic value, which somehow tends to make you feel that this present is not as good. Could have been better.
See, you are a star, so you know the adrenaline of being center stage. You know how exciting it is. The adrenaline that when you're doing something live or acting in front of a camera. So to give that up, there is a little bit of vacuum when you give up being stage. There is a vacuum because now you're no more seen. Your name doesn't even appear. You're putting in a lot of effort, but it is a satisfaction that comes from within. Now you're no longer looking at people for validation of what you're doing. Nobody is telling you "Wawa" anymore. But you are judging yourself. You see what you've directed. You see your program and say, "Okay, I brought this person who didn't know this medium, helped them evolve with a new idea. I coordinated with so many people, and I did a fairly okay job. Let me try something better next time." So
wow.
that was the excitement.
So it's so it's interesting that my mother, Mrs. Reba Vidyarthi, she learned Kathak, and she was from a zamindar family in Ajmer, Bengali, and Chatterjee family, Chakravarti. And in her family, in fact, her grandparents, they were not all right with her learning Kathak. All right. And so there was a pushback and like how, and she was asked not to learn. And Ma tells me that, she negotiated with her grandfather and said that, "I promise you that I will never perform. May I learn?" And see that it kind of, what you just shared, it just brings a memory that I do remember that even after Ma's grandfather had moved on, passed away, Ma never performed. All right. That promise for her that was given to her grandfather was there. So so she would have taught all the Lucknow Gharana performers, top performers that you may have seen up till now. They've all gone through so many years of training, at the Kathak Kendra in Delhi. And but there was wistful something about her. She said that, okay, I'm not going to be performing, but my students will be known for their detailing. And somehow that is something which I also saw in you, because you
That's
kind of gave your everything, that person who is in performance is going to stay embellished. Would you say that that is something which has been, which that has allowed you to also deal with a lot of transitions in your life, your ability to offer others center stage?
I've been a great admirer of AYT's. I've had the pleasure of meeting her, and I've met a lot of her students, and they all speak so highly of her. So I know what a great artist she was. I had something similar, which I wasn't planning to share, but the same year I joined Doordarshan, I also got married. Even though I knew my husband to be for 6 years, ours was not an arranged marriage, and he was a very cool guy. But when it came to dance, he said, I don't think my family would approve of your performing. Not that we actually discussed it with the family, nor did they tell me not to do. But I promised him I'll give up performing when I get married. And that also made it easier for me. It was just something we spoke and never took further, but I never regretted it. And having said that, even though he's not been there for 16 years, I've never ever thought of going back on stage. That has never lured me again. But like you said, every time an artist, a good artist, well-known artist who performed on stage and all over the world would come to television, I would still request them to find some new theme, make something thematic, do something which will not do on stage, so that the television audience, if it's the same audience who come to your performance and watch
Sure.
it on, they have something different to see. And so working with them, it was so exciting. It was a new journey, and it was forming a new theme and a culmination of something totally different from what they normally do. So I've had some very, very exciting journeys with all the best dancers who I've recorded. Musicians, music was a little more constricted. I could only work with sets and repertoire sometimes, but with dance, I could do wonders.
So it's what's very interesting. When I even hear this is that somewhere in transitions, because you see this period, the present period that we are dealing with a period where people are really scared of what we are transitioning into, what we have transitioned into. Whole lot of that is to do with the stuff that we have been doing in the past. All right, so we've been used to a way of living, we've been used to a way of working. People who are watching right now, some of them are working professionals, many of them are working professionals. They are in some trade or the other, and guess what? The way that each one of us has been working is going to be completely altered in this next moment. So when I see you, and over the years that I've seen, one of the things that I've noticed is that I don't recall you saying that this should have been this way. You've been a person who actually has been dancing with what is there, rather than saying that, oh, could have been, should have been. And you've gone through stuff in life. All right. And tell me about that ability and how that can add value and has added value in your life when you were not limited by the coulds and the shoulds in your mind, and you could be in service, in dance with what was really there.
One was, of course, I had an extremely supportive husband who helped me. He was a good friend when I was going through difficult times. Like, I gave my 100 or plus% to Doordarshan while I worked, but I
Absolutely.
never got the promotions that I uh, deserved. I felt maybe, I don't know, whatever I should have got,
Got
which
it.
my colleagues got. Let's not go by deserve, but my contemporaries got, but I was always sidestepped. So that was very difficult for a young me to overcome. And when my peers became my bosses, to work under them, and yet remain friends. But these were all the challenges. But then I realized those people are my friends. They have become my bosses due to the organization. They have not changed. They're the same wonderful people. So I make it easy for them, and I continued being friends with them. So that's how I still maintain my friendship with many of my colleagues in DD, with whom I work. So uh, it was a very difficult decision to continue to work, especially when there were a lot of private channels coming up at that time. Options were plenty. But I was steeped in classical arts. I was as interested in Western culture, music, anything else along with the other. But I really felt there were not many takers for classical arts. So
So I just want to take you back a little bit, to the time that I met. And there's something very, uh, so we met at very different points in our life. I remember uh, you were at the Central Production Center. I had just graduated from the National School of Drama.
yes,
And really, there's, didn't know where I was going. I had no clue. I was like, I was dreaming. I wanted something. I had no clue. And as I hear your story today, and I remember having heard it even then, I mean, known about it, that you were many of the things that you thought that you deserved, that you thought that you worked for, was not being offered to you. All right. And I saw you in the midst of that, not, um, you know, not sulking about it. You were in, and as you said, that yes, those people were your friends, and they remained. And what a beautiful clarification, have you done that? It was not, they were not at fault that they were promoted or that you were not promoted. It was a system which did it. So has this very clear demarcation helped you with things through life? Because I will share an image also of that time. I will share very soon.
yes. But before I answer, I want to tell you that this probably is my impression of you too, because I knew you straight out of NSD. I've seen you wanting to be, a struggling actor. I've seen you
Yeah.
successful, but doing films. And I always used to say initially that you are so talented, your talent is not being recognized. And then, you said we have to earn a living to start with, and then only I can make sure. But I've seen you with all these stages, but I've never heard you complain. I would be making these comments to you. I haven't heard those from you, saying, I'm so talented, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do this. I have heard that from you, right? So I think it's, so probably you understand what I'm trying to say, because I've seen that in these qualities in you too, Ashish.
So
What
I
do you
will
think?
share a set of photographs which recently. So we are part of the Act One group. So that was around the time that I was also working with CPC, and I used to do theater in the evening.
Okay.
And this was a group called Act One, and we went down to Kolkata to do a play. And we are on there, and you also see Sujit Sarkar there,
Oh,
and
wow.
the filmmaker Sujit Sarkar there. And we are singing songs, and you know traveling through all that. Now, I do recall in that time, that's Piyush Mishra. He used to be acting and, making all those amazing songs which you hear him sing now. Lo Aaya Mausam, Jhoom Ke Mar Jane Ka. All those amazing songs. That's NK there. And my dear friend Alok Mathur is there. So one of the things that does come to my mind, and something which I connect with people even right now, is that even before COVID, even before this period, there were periods that we did not know where we were heading. And I can speak for myself. There was a lot of passion, a lot of wanting to do something else, but didn't know exactly what. And as you traveled through life, as you went through different transitions, did that belief in yourself, did that have an important role as you moved forward, or what was it? What allowed you to transition?
I think there were times earlier, pre-COVID, where I felt I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel very often. Okay, and compared to that, probably it's because of my age, experience, everything else put together. But I'm in a much happier place at the moment than I was during all, when I had to face all those challenges.
Yep.
So when a challenge comes up, it feels like it's probably the end of the world. And then you see, how can I get over this? And then you move forward, and then you slowly see a gleam of light, and then you see a lot of light, and then you got out of the darkness, you got out of the tunnel, and now you envelop the light around you, and the darkness is behind. Then you
Ah,
the next challenge, and then you move with that, you face that, and you go through this process again. And
I just
early
love this.
and earlier
I
it
just
was just me facing it. With the COVID, I'm with the whole world. I'm
I
sharing it.
in fact, I would just want to hold you even before COVID. What you said is so beautiful because I remember the time when you retired, from Doordarshan, and you had by that time come back to Chennai, and you retired when in Chennai, and there were a lot of other things. Suddenly from being very busy to be completely free. All right, having a lot more time for yourself, and what you said right now is beautiful, Sita. And I love that, what you said, that about stepping into the future and allowing that light to illuminate us. And what you said, I mean, I just love that. That's the principle that it really throbs with me. Rather than trying to carry the light from this moment into that, can we dare to step into that moment and then be illuminated by that light? Wow. You know, so you retired from Chennai, Doordarshan. What does Seetha Ratnakar do now? Life is over, khatam, retired. What do we do now?
Not at all. Everybody thought I was such a workaholic in DD. So everybody thought that I'll probably join some channel or the other and continue doing, directing programs. But I realized there are a lot of young, smart people out there. Technology is changing every day. Let them take over the media and do something else. Can't live in the past that we did this, we did that. So
Wow.
I did make one documentary for Nataraja. So like I said, I retired from actively dancing, but dance has been a part of my life always. So somehow I felt, Nataraja was guiding me all the time to do something dance related. So I made one documentary, which titled Cosmic Connection. And it was all the years I had gone to Chidambaram to cover the Natyanjali Dance Festival. I was fascinated by the connection between temples, architecture, art. There were so many interconnections, and the artists, what they bring to it. So I made a little documentary on that. And then after that, I said, no more making all this. Let me try something different. Initially, I started writing a few articles. I wrote some articles. I traveled a lot. I started visiting my family, which I couldn't do much while I was working, and most of them live abroad. So now, when I started traveling, I started writing a few articles on
So
the
let me
diaspora.
just get this. So you are on your own in Chennai,
I've been on for 16 years.
16 years, okay? And the kids are going away, they're studying, and they're moving away. And now you are saying, now I have the time for the things that I did not do before, or as much as I wanted to do.
Yes.
Okay?
One family. I never spent enough time with my family because Doordarshan was a very demanding taskmaster, and I had to put all my personal life on hold to meet my deadlines or whatever. So first thing I decided that now my family will be a priority. I'll be there for them whenever they need me. So my siblings, my mother, who lived to the age of almost 99 years old, and she passed this last year. There,
Yeah,
oh
here she
yes,
is.
my inspiration, my mom.
Yeah, yeah.
And so she was always a huge support, supporting me in all my endeavors, encouraging me always, and propping me up whenever I was going down a little in life. She's an amazing lady.
Hmm.
So I started spending time with them. And while I was spending time there, several things happened. Initially, I started writing some articles for the Hindu or the art in the diaspora. And then my sister, who has a dance school in Houston, suddenly lost her husband in 2015. And he used to help her with all the technical work. And she had this huge 40th anniversary of a school coming up a few months later. I just stepped in and tried to do whatever he did to help her out in the situation. And from there started another new journey. I started collaborating with my sister on more and more. I started with lighting, costumes initially. I
Costume.
helped
Yeah.
making designing all the costumes from India, so she didn't have to make trips back and forth while he was in hospital. And then I sat and did the lighting, which he could not do. I took over and did the lighting. It was a new experience because I never did lighting myself in television. I had experts doing it, but I was aware of what is to be done, so I had to learn.
And technology had altered a lot in the 15 years.
Yes.
Yeah. So will it be fair to say that to the experience you kept adding learning?
Absolutely. Yes. Enriching.
Yes. And Seetha, I think that's something so amazing available to each one of us. So wherever each one of us is in our life, and something you bring it forth so beautifully in your life, and as you are sharing, is that each one of us may have achieved things. So we have a choice. Either we live counting on that, talking of it, narrating that, or telling people that I accept this because of that past of mine. Or, as you said, that, yes, I have that experience. I have that sensibility which I've acquired over the years and the expertise. But I'm now ready to learn what is needed in this present moment.
Yes.
So my question to you, Seetha, is that in your readiness to learn, your readiness to be open, what is available to you?
Plenty. Now I've been under lockdown for 4 months now. Exactly. I came 18th of March is when I returned from the US. 28 days I was under quarantine, and
All alone?
all alone, and I couldn't even buy groceries. People had to leave it outside the doorstep, and I survived. So first thing I rediscovered my cooking skills, which I had. I was a retired cook. I never liked cooking, so I wanted to retire, but it follows me all my life. Okay.
No, yeah. I remember your cooking. I remember coming down to Chennai in the years, and I used to stay at the GRT at T Nagar, and I used to walk over early morning to your place, and I used to get a filter coffee with you. And then remember the times that we used to take a marina.
We saw the sunrise at the beach, Marina. We watched it.
Exactly.
Right?
Vivekanand Museum at the back, and just standing there. Yes. And those coffee, which is the Saravana Bhavan close to that.
Yeah. We stopped at Saravana Bhavan and had coffee, dosa, idli dosa coffee.
And I also remember quite a few of those breakfasts used to happen at your place. So I have eaten stuff. And then you said that, okay, I'll not be cooking for a while. And so you kind of so in fact, very interestingly, in my 50th, 5 years back, we also met in New York. Wasn't that an amazing serendipity?
I remember even we met. I came with you and your friends on a trip to Kolkata.
Yes.
I met some lovely friends who have all become my friends now, and I met Piluji for the first time.
So, Pilu, yeah, you met her, yeah. So what's fascinating, Seetha, what I love about life is that, and this is something, like we make too much about learning, like where to learn, what did you learn, or what have you done? And relax, yeah. How will it be if we can get that we don't step into each day to learn? We don't step into each day to learn, but we learn each day. And for me, yes, and for me, a key part of that has been the amazing friendships that I've made and the amazing friendships that I share. And I remember that particular Kolkata trip happened just like that. When we were just thinking about it, and you probably didn't know any one of you, but I thought it'd be such a fantastic thing because you love to move around. And wasn't that an amazing time? The boat ride.
Fantastic. But meeting you in New York was an amazing surprise. There you were there in Manhattan, and we had to meet, and we had a lovely time. So it was fantastic.
So the magic of life is amazing, Seetha. And for me, if life as life opens up things, and I have transitioned many many times in my life, going through different things. So either I look at each thing as an issue, or if I look at it as a continuing conversation. Just to let all the interactions that we create at Avid Miner, we call them all conversations,
Yes.
because I personally feel life itself is a conversation which meanders, and then there are issues, you deal with it, and then you create something else. But it is all inside of whatever we are committed to. And I personally feel inspiring friends add value to your life, and it adds value to life.
Absolutely.
Because through life we are only looking at what next to do and what else to do and how else to touch more people and inspire more people and really make a difference to more people. And as you said that I want to spend time with family.
And then that didn't happen
Yeah,
for the last 4 months. I've not been able to leave alone family. I can't even meet neighbors. I can't meet
just
anybody.
imagine. So
So,
that you thought was the main thing, and last 4 months that's gone. How does Sita deal with it now? The thing that you wanted is not happening.
so first thing is I started waking up early and I noticed this. I made some really new friends, let me say, from my window. Okay, they've always been there, but I never noticed them. Oh my God, the sun. Every morning sunrise. Just look, it's so amazing. Look at that bird caught in the rays of the sun. I would just click without. I mean, I've not been a photographer before, but I felt that the sun was posing for me every day, and this is the
Not just
moon.
the sun.
The moon too, yes.
you know
So,
i and something interesting I found about these. Just look at this.
look at this. Yeah, please tell me.
I'll tell you what I found interesting about these.
Mm-hmm.
That same window that same window showed up so many different parts, so many different sides to you.
Yes. And then there were these birds.
Yeah.
I mean, they're migratory birds, and then they have to vanish when it's summer. It's very, very hot. But this pelican has been coming every few days. It's like a personal friend. I can't stop looking at. Sometimes there are three or four, but this
Let,
one particular.
let's have a look at this one. Let's have a look at this one. Our voice won't be heard.
Okay. So
You
you
made
can.
new friends,
Yes.
and they were there, and this time you chose to make friends with them.
Because I started interacting with them. It was like I'm having a silent conversation with them. I know it sounds crazy, but I was talking to the pelican and said, "Hi, you're back again today. How nice to see you." I would have this conversation. My son would even laugh and say, "Don't tell lies, mom. It's the same sun." I said, "No, this is this today's sunrise." But I enjoyed the sun every day. I enjoyed the birds every day. The water, the sky, the clouds were different every day. It was just so beautiful. And this morning, I sent you a picture of the rain when it was raining in Chennai. So every morning is just beautiful looking out of the window. That's to start with. Then after the quarantine period, when I could move out a bit and started connecting with people, something fantastic happened. My mother, who passed away last year, I had great plans. She was a musician, and I wanted to celebrate her centenary in a big way, but I couldn't do anything. May 12th was a centenary. I couldn't do anything, and I felt frustrated. But I did do a small show on Zoom with a few people who are her fans, and one of them said she was interested in learning some of her songs from me. And from that conversation, in 1 week ago, I completed a Zoom workshop on folk music where I taught 10 people a folk song which my mother had from her collection. Let me tell you, I'm neither a singer, I used to sing when I was a kid, nor am I a teacher. And nor did I know. I didn't know a single person in that group of 10. It started, the youngest was 8 years old, and there was one elderly lady, all strangers to me. All of them loved my mother and her singing. And with that faith, we did a 5-day workshop. And fifth day, there were these kids singing these songs beautifully. So I felt so, and okay, I also started learning, I must say, I also started learning my mother tongue, Telugu, which I didn't know, because in Madras, Chennai, I had to learn Tamil for Doordarshan. In Delhi, it had to be Hindi, so I was trying to be adept at both those languages. Post retirement, I realized that I don't know my own language. For my mother's work, I need to know. So I have been learning Telugu for the last few weeks, and that came in handy because I had the confidence to get the correct lyrics, learn, practice, learn to sing it myself, and teach it to them. So 1 week ago, that completed. Life happens, Ashish.
You're Rolling Stone.
So,
and we are not without, Seetha. We are not without. I mean, the singer, the child singer, then the child who learnt dance, and then that child who became a young adult and joined the Doordarshan, and her journey. You're not without. None of us is without. All that stays with us.
Everything is interconnected, don't you think? All that experience comes in sometime in life. We should never think that it's over, because we don't know what lies ahead. When one of our experiences is going to come in. Like, I never thought that today I would be sitting and talking to you. We met 30 years ago, and we meet on and off. But look, here we are today, face to face almost, even if it's virtual.
Yeah. I think, 30 years ago. Yeah, probably, yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. So here is something which interests me a lot. When people are dealing with things which they think are impossible to deal with, and at this moment, each one of us is dealing with what seems impossible. What is going to happen in this period is something which is, even when we don't want to address it, it is like that white elephant which is right here. What would you as a person say to yourself when you're dealing with that's something which looks at this point impossible to deal with?
I would first say nothing is impossible. I don't have that word in my vocabulary. So I've removed it. I do not believe that, unless you're asking for, like, if you say, bring me Mars or Saturn or something, then it may not be physically possible. But anything that's possible for another human being should be possible for me. So nothing is impossible. I do not have a closed mind for anything. So that white elephant, especially if it's work or if something good has to be done out of it. I mean, if you tell me to go bungee jumping, I may say I'm scared and may not try it. But if it's something like, if I had to climb on top of a big, a high building to shoot something, I'll do it.
Yeah. In fact, what you just said is something very interesting. If you have an open mind, even if I think about it, if you have an open mind, that white elephant can also walk out.
Absolutely.
We sometimes seem to trap things in our mind with our limited vision.
Walk along.
Yeah.
Walk along with the white elephant.
Can we walk along with that white elephant? Absolutely. Because, Seetha, let's look at it. And this is a conversation that I'm going to be engaging in. This period is going to continue for a while. Let's face it.
Yes.
This is going to continue for a while. Imagine, even if in January, even if in February, we get that shot, which is which will make us all right to face it. All right. We get that immunization shot, whatever we call it, a vaccine or whatever. Imagine, how long will it take for the entire world to get those shots? Can you believe it? It's not a January story. It's not a February story. It's a long time that's going to reach all of us. Now, for me, what inspires me in conversations like this is that each one of us who are here attending, who are listening, you and I, each one of us have been dealing with issues in our life. And those issues at that point were insurmountable. They seemed impossible. That's why they were issues. Otherwise, you just walked past it. Now we need to, have that open mind that I will allow this new today or these series of new todays to illuminate me rather than me going with my understanding of what the future could and should look like. For me, that open mind as we practice in life each day is our opportunity to, as you beautifully said, to walk along with that white elephant, not consider it an adversary which we either have to kill or wait for it to go. But we can live with it because we are going to live with this.
Yes, we just have to adapt to the new normal and let the constraints be only the constraint of space that we have today where we cannot move out. Let it not constrain our minds because the mind is, it's the expanse is huge. There's so much to do. There's so much. I mean, I don't think this lifetime is enough for me to do everything I wanted to do. So here's this opportunity. Right now it's Telugu. It could be German tomorrow. It could be Japanese. So what if I may not go to Japan or Germany? A language is always interesting. I might enjoy a Kurosawa film better if I learn Japanese. So you don't know what, I mean, there's endless opportunities, to
Yeah,
improve
in
our
fact,
growth.
yeah, you shared something very interesting about the old age, and then and where one will get to see. Can you share that? That I thought that was such a, what should I say? It reflects so much of you. Please share that.
See, everybody, all my friends, they're all reaching. What do we do when we, what next if we can't manage on our own, if we can't walk, move, whatever, we get incapacitated or any reason that we can't live on our own? What do we do? So I was saying that I would love to, you know, get together with like-minded people and start an old age home where it's not going to be like everywhere else, where again there are constraints and early morning, wake up, do yoga, do bhajans, do this. Which, I mean, I have great respect for all that. I do my yoga right now, but at that time, years of my life have gone by with discipline, waking up early, meeting deadlines. This is the, when I'm that old, can I not forget time? Let keep time on hold and do yoga in the middle of the night or watch movies with friends, stay up all night and sleep all day and do whatever. Because I want to be connected culturally. For me, theater, movies, stimulating people, all these, I want my mental stimulation. I do not want to give up on life, on books, on everything. And so I don't want to be isolated old woman. I want to be a connected old person.
Wow. What should I say? It's an absolute wow. So Rita Vadera is saying, great listening to Sita's inspirational story. It's
My class,
inspirational life.
she's my classmate from school.
Oh, really? Oh, wonderful.
Yes,
So we've got quite a few interesting people here. We would love to hear. An open mind. Okay, Neil Shankar Ray says it's true. An open mind is the key to every possibility. Okay, this is an interesting one. Sir, the contemporary situations do put us into critical juncture. How do we find ray of hope amidst such ominous silence? So this is something which Neil Shankar Ray has asked, that yes, open mind is the key to every possibility, but sometimes the contemporary situations put us to, into a critical juncture. How do we deal with that? Would you like to
uh,
go with this, Sita? Somebody
sure.
that.
See, what I want to tell everybody is we all know that death is inevitable. One day, all of us are going to. How we are going to die, none of us know. Now, for the first time, we know it could be COVID. There's a possibility. Till now, death is something we push to the back of our mind. It could be
Sure.
COVID. So why think of it? All that it's the ominous part of it is because we cannot meet the people we care for. We cannot have the activities which we do. That part of it is ominous, so we have to reinvent ourselves. The COVID itself is, yes, if we stay healthy, just think positive and hope it won't come to us. If it comes, if that's the way we got to go, that's the way we have to go. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
also,
sorry.
Neil, another thing, Neil. So even if we are talking of anything that confronts us at that point, so even as you said that you have an open mind and you're dealing with something which is ominous, consider welcome to real life. All right. Now, for me, anything. So let me put it on my life, and Sita, I want you to listen in and just share your thoughts. That anytime that I have felt hemmed in, I have felt that I, I'm like a victim, then I'm very clear that I am saying that there is no other place other than this that I can be. Life, dear friend, has options, gives us options. It is up to us whether we want to take it. So, just to give you an example, and please see it in your context. I'm an actor and I like a particular kind of roles, but I'm not getting those kind of roles, and I'm doing those kind of roles. And there came a time in my life, and I said that, hey, listen, if I keep being a victim and saying that, hey, I want those kind of roles, I'm not getting it, and I'll continue to do it, and I feel that those roles can come to me, but they are not coming to me, and that person is wrong, that person is connected, that person isn't fair to me. Now it makes me feel horrible. Now you may agree with me, somebody else may agree with me. Yes, Ashish, I really think that it's been wrong to you, but doesn't help my cause. And that's the point where I have realized that that's when I have to take certain actions. If each one of us is only sees ourselves only at the receiving end of life, let's see what life gives us, then we are like the static people who are waiting for somebody to throw arms to us. On the other hand, if what Sita has also shared is that life is moving, how about you and I also moving with it? So if this is not working out, change, move to some other place, get it. Yes, you wanted it, got it, it's not there. Now, that is where, just like it is, in a way, we seem to be wooing life. Come on, life, be nice to us, be nice to us. How will it be if we are so exciting that life and people around us start wooing us and say that, hey, listen, you're phenomenal, yeah. Can you do something for us? Thoughts on this, Sida?
I absolutely agree, because we should look at what we have and not we don't have, because there's nothing we can do about what we don't have.
Yeah.
Like, I agree that wasting your time and energy on thinking of that is an absolutely worthless
Mm.
situation. Of course, you think about it, you have to think about it, go through a process of realization and move it aside, and then move on and see what you have and try to make the most of what you have. We all have. It's not that we are, I look at the shelter, the roof over my head, the food that I'm getting. Everybody is going through an economic crisis, but in this crisis, I'm able to eat. So look, you know, it's okay. I'm eating some
Grateful,
food.
grateful.
I have Wi-Fi.
And this morning, as we are preparing for this, you also had a plan B in place. Okay, you kind
Yes,
of.
oh, that is fantastic. Today I learned something new thanks to you and Pilu. You guided me on how to connect with the hotspot in case the power fails, because it was raining cats and dogs a few minutes before our show started. So I was afraid of a power cut. So I learned new technology even this morning. So
Yes.
I'm feeling empowered. There's never, I think that there's something new happening all the time, and there are some dull moments in between. We have to
Yeah.
garner our strength during that time and hang on and wait for the next beautiful thing to happen.
Fantastic. So, as a lot of questions coming in, and Saud just asked about the energy that one gives, and one of the things that we have to really get Saud is that um, it's the energy that you bring to your life. That's the energy that you may share with others. What's interesting in life is that if you're positive towards yourself, you can be positive towards the world. I kind of bring it out. I found it in myself. And Sita, please, I want to listen to your thoughts on this. If you're fiercely critical about everything else, everybody else, what people should do, how it should be done, how it should not be done, you'll be continuously unhappy, because that's how you are being with yourself. When you're left alone, you're just mentioned like, yeah, this should have been, could have been. On the other hand, if you can actually get that you're not the kind of guy who's going to be winning all the time, You're not going to get it right all the time. If you can be kind enough with yourself. In this period, Sita, I really feel that each one of us needs to be a lot kind to ourselves. Really get that we need a lot of love and caring to go around. It's not just that you're holding yourself, you didn't do it, and you beat yourself up. Let's face it, this period will need us to dance with it. And I promise you one thing, Sita, like each time that I see you dance with life, over the years as I've seen you dance with life, I know that you have ignited my life. And I know for a fact that you would have ignited so many others. And that's what I kind of, for me, giving forward is that if we can stay inspired, this period truly needs individuals to be inspirational for themselves and others, because there is a collective loss of hope. And therefore, I think stories like you, the way you have lived your life, and so many other stories need to be told. And as I told you today, I will be taking your story in along with me to many organizations, because I want people to know that it's simple if we choose to stay inspired.
Thank you, Ashish. I just want to add that, share with your friends that the borderline is quite thin. Being positive doesn't come from the heavens to any of us. We are not born with this quality. It is something we have to work on. We have a choice of being unhappy. I have million reasons to be unhappy. I'm all alone. My family is abroad. I can't travel. I don't even know when I'll see my kids again or my grandchildren. But I'm not going to think about that because there are more important issues in the world. I'm going to try and concentrate on today. What can I do today? What can I do tomorrow? Live one day at a time and wait till that one day moves to 2021 or whenever, when things open up. And live in hope and believe that there's going to be a better tomorrow. Even if I
Yes.
don't see it, it doesn't matter. Till the day I die, I will keep believing that tomorrow is going to be a better day.
Phenomenal. And you are part of that today as you go with that.
With you.
Fantastic, Sita. It's been an absolute joy interacting with you. I thank you so much for being a part of our life, part of Pilu's life, Mowgli's life, my life, and the life of so many countless people. You have touched and inspired people through your life with your work, through your kindness, through your luminosity. So I thank you for being the generous human being you are. Thank you, each one of you, for having spent your Sunday morning, now stepping into the afternoon with us. And wherever you are, whichever part of the world, I know, Sita, a lot of your friends are there from all over the world. I thank each one of them for having accepted our invite. Please keep joining us at different points. We believe in one thing, that this world is created by each one of us each day. So thank you for being with us as we try to make this hour fruitful. Thank you, Sita.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you for letting me share all this with you and friends.
Lots of love. Thank you so very much. Appreciate each one of you. See you around. Stay bright. Stay effervescent. And remember, this is the season of hope. Let's infuse life with hope. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a phenomenal Sunday.